Good evening, everyone. It is wonderful to have a full room for our regular meeting of the Revere School Committee. Please rise to salute the flag. Roll call of the members.
Mrs. Bronston Rizzo.
Present.
Mr. Ferranti.
Here.
Miss Gravelisi.
Here.
Mr. Kingston.
Here.
Mrs. Milbury Ellis.
Here.
Miss Ty.
Here.
Mayor Rigo.
Here. We'll move to the consent calendar. As a, no. Consent calendar.
Motion to accept the consent calendar, but remove in the acceptance of donations and field trips from it.
Okay. Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Bronston Rizzo.
Yes?
Mr.
Yes.
Miss Gravelisi.
Yes.
Mr. Kingston.
Yes.
Milbury Ellis.
Yes.
Miss Ty.
Yes.
Mayor Rigo.
Yes. Okay. We are unfortunately skipping our student representative report. Our student reps are unable this evening. I believe one of them is busy applying for colleges, which is much more important.
That's right.
Next item is public speak. Any members of the public who wish to speak, if anybody's on Zoom, please raise your hand. I don't think there are any participants, but okay, going once, twice. We will move on to the stars of the night, which is the superintendent report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have a number of, as you can see, phenomenal students, parents, teachers, and administrators with us tonight who are going to present some of the work that they've been doing at their different schools. And we're going to start tonight with a presentation from the Lincoln School, and Principal Humis and her student council, along with the student council advisor, Ms. Sasso, are going to share some of the work that they have been doing tonight. So I'll invite Principal Humis up to give us a little preview, and I will open your presentation while you do that. You can just tell us who's here and all that, because of course this mouse is not behaving for me.
Oh, okay, so I'll get started. So, we were really excited, thank you, to, well, first of all, thank you for having us. We're super excited to present, especially with students, which we haven't gotten to do in quite a while. So, one of our focus areas this year was creating an opportunity for student voice and choice. And one way we did that was to implement a school council. And we have 4th and 5th graders. And they are here, along with Miss Alexa Sasso, to tell you what is going on and explain to you how we started that and what they're going to do. So we're really excited. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Miss Sasso and our students. I'm going to invite our students up to come right up in line like we practiced, pretend you're in the classroom. And you are all set.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Humis. So our student council is at the Abraham Lincoln School. Today our student council consists of 7 5th graders and 10 4th grade students. The purpose of our student council is to represent our school. The students have a voice and choice, and students participate in school activities and organize events. Today here with us we have Nina, Lila, Tariq, and Bilal. And one more slide. One more, sorry. And right here we have all of our 17 representatives that are part of our student council that could not make it tonight. And our next slide is going to be how we do voting, and Lila is going to be the one to share that. Huh?
Lila. We decide the theme for dress down days. We come up with a list of ideas that we think like and write them all down. Then we vote all on the ideas by raising our hands. The theme with the most votes is chosen.
And next up, we have Nina going over how our voice is heard in the student council.
Hello, I'm Nina. One of the ideas that we talked about was what the PTA could buy for the holiday shopping bazaar. We came up with a list of examples. Some examples were pet toys, stuffed animals, blankets, and jewelry. We ran these ideas by the PTA to see if they were in the budget, and they ordered some of the items for our suggestions.
Okay, and now Tariq.
Student council is a great way for teachers and administrators to hear our voice on important school matters. Joining the student council gives us a voice and choice on school topics. Some of the topics we discuss are field trip destinations, dress down days, heritage months. This is a fun opportunity for us to use our creative ideas as 4th and 5th graders. We are the role models of our school. The school community wants to hear our opinion on school topics.
Hello, my name is Bilal, and we are now finished with our presentation. Does anyone have any questions?
Great job, everyone. Members of the committee, Mrs. Rizzo.
Well, first of all, I love student voice, and keep using your voice and never back down in things that you believe. But my first question is, what are some of your dress down themes?
We vote on if our country colors on Wednesday or half days. We also vote what do you like stuff to wear. Pajama day.
I like
And-
pajama day. Love pajama day.
Sports day, and we're still deciding.
It's a work in progress.
Thank you. And your heritage months, do you have any plans of things coming up?
We would like to offer the students to wear their culture shirts to school, and we would also like to have a culture night at our school. Those are in the works.
And if you can make sure the school committee is invited, I know we would love to attend and see the marvelous work you're doing over there. We love the Lincoln Lions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Rizzo. Ms. Tai.
I'm interested in where the children would like to go for a field trip.
You look excited.
Yes, everybody likes field trips.
We would like to go on field trips that teach lessons. We don't want to go on field trips just to have fun, but also have creativity and education. Some are the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston, the aquarium, and others are still in work in progress.
I think that actually that you have probably learned the lesson that when you are learning you're seeing new people and new things and responding to new ideas, that's a lot of fun, isn't it? So you're great students. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Tai. Ms. Milbury Ellis.
Yes, I just wanted to thank you for your presentation. You all did very well. I hope that this experience has given you a sort of motivation to want to always be involved in important decisions that affect you and your peers, and to be that voice for people who maybe don't, are too timid to speak up. So I applaud you and your courage for being able to speak up and to speak in front of all of us. It's not very easy, and I encourage you to continue to do so. Thank you.
And Mr. Mayor, if I could add, they're very young, but I think you should, all four of you, and actually every child who is in this room, should think about becoming a teacher. We need teachers.
We need them.
We need
Yeah.
people like you. It's a great job. I did it for 35 years. It was, well, maybe not always, every minute fun, but every day there was a new adventure. And I'm sure that those other people who have had the experience here could say the same thing. So think about it. It's a great job, and it pays pretty well, too. Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you. Great job.
Dr. Kelly, please continue with the superintendent report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our next presentation is from our Garfield Middle School staff and students, and I'll invite Principal Paczynski up to tell us a little bit about the project that they are going to present, framed around positive behavior incentive systems.
All right, good evening, distinguished members of the school committee, and thank you very much for inviting us here and allowing some time to present some of the great things that are going on inside the halls of the Garfield Middle School. I have a number of students and teachers with us to present tonight. So along with me, myself is Mariana Contreras, Ana Coelho, Gianna Stasinos, Gianna Cuzzi, and Moda Elves, Gil Andrade, Brian Mesa, I believe is zooming in, Ariana Stillman, and Gwen Maillard, as well as Ms. Del Greco and Ms. Eshelman as well.
And I have just promoted, Brian was in the waiting room, I have just promoted him to participant on Zoom so that he can talk to us.
All right, great, thank you very much. So again, what we'd like to talk about tonight is positive behavior incentive systems. If we go to the next slide, really aligned with our district improvement plan, our school improvement plan, is providing students and developing a anti-racist, equitable, inclusive environment for all of our students. We want to develop a school and have a school where students want to come to school every single day. They want to learn. Now, if we move to the next slide, we all recognize that our Gator Code of respect, responsibility, and relationships, I've spoken about relationships numerous times before. Relationships aren't developed by having our students sit in the corner when they're in trouble. It's not writing on the board, "I will not chew gum in class" 100 times over and over again. But it's a matter of developing meaningful relationships through positive incentives. And that's really something that we at the Garfield are really focusing on and implementing. And at this point, I would like to have our students join us, as well as the teachers, to come up as well, because rather than me tell you about it, I'd rather you hear the student voices about how excited I am, but we know how that can get translation. So one thing that we did implement this year, we've always had a welcoming for our sixth graders coming in, but this year our sixth grade team teachers really wanted to have a welcoming orientation for them. So the teachers took on developing, it was about a week and a half long orientation through advisory and really introducing our students to the building. So at this point in time, I'm going to pass this off and I'm going to let the students take the rest of it. If we could go to the next slide.
Okay, well, the sixth grade orientation was a fun learning experience, learning about our teachers and also learning about the students as well. We got to know each other a bit longer in that week and a half that we had in the orientation, and we got to know our teachers as well. We also got to do some fun activities like go outside, play in the basketball court, play in the field. We had a bunch of activities done so that we could get to know each other, and yeah.
We also played like games, and we got to know each other and other students in the building, so we wouldn't be like without friends or be the only one sitting without someone in lunch. And one of the fun games we played was the Keep It Up game, where we had to get in teams and play Keep It Up the whole time, keep a little balloon up, and that was a really good game to play. And we learned a lot from teamwork.
All right, if we move to our next slide.
One of the many things that we did this year was the Fall Festival. It was a reward to all students within the school for having good habits of work, where you got to either go to a movie or participate in a dance. This gave everybody a chance to hang out with their friends and have fun, not showing that you can have fun in school if you do good.
At the Fall Festival, if you were at the gym for the dance, there was a snack table where you could buy snacks, and the funding, the money went to funding activities like, field trips. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Field trips, and there was a costume contest, and the winners won candy and chips, and overall it was just a way to show that we got like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. It was a reward for us to show that we were doing well in school, and it just boosted our motivation to do well.
Hi, my name is Anna, and the moonrise was something our science teachers set up for us to watch the moon closely, and we went to the Revere beach to watch the moon rise up. There was a blood moon when we were there, and we did get to see Jupiter.
Hi, my name is Ariana. So we are very fortunate to have Revere Beach very close to our school. So it's nice that we get to do activities like this a lot. And I appreciate that our science teachers set this up for us because it was part of what we were working on in class, which was the moon phases at the time. So it's really nice that we got to experience that.
Hello, my name is Gil Andrade. The World Cup that Power of No created was that all the advisories competed, 6th, 7th grade competed all against each other to see who would win and get to watch the semifinals down in the auditorium after school. The teachers, principals would send a Google form to every advisory to predict who would win the next game, and if you got the game right, then you would get a point for not just for the World Cup, for Gator Cup too. And the teams for 6th grade, the team for 6th grade, 7th, and 8th that got the most points went to the auditorium to watch the semifinals, and they also got snacks there.
And I'll just run, should I just scroll?
Yeah, we can kind of keep scrolling. So right
These-
now, there are a lot of doors.
How they decorated their doors
Decorated, built
for the
road.
country they were in favor of, which is a great way for students to learn about international flags.
Very cool.
I'm back. I'm Gil Andrade. So the big sale was something that the 6th grade teachers, Power of No, created. That 6th grade teachers made baked goods from their homes and brought it into school. They would bring it in. We would do it for advisory and after school during parent-teacher night conference. we would sell them the baked goods, and the teacher with the most baked goods sold wins, and the money that we got, it went towards mostly 6th grade Gator Cup, like their 6th grade field trips. That's where their cookie decorating where that came from, and yeah.
Awesome.
So at our school, we have a currency. It's called Garfield Bucks, and then we also have something called Billy Bucks, and those are rewarded to students showing good habits of work in their classes and showing good behavior. And those can be used at our school store, which has prizes, snacks, and school supplies.
See what the Billy Bucks look like? Garfield Bucks.
What are Billy Bucks versus Garfield Bucks?
So the Garfield Bucks are the school-wide. The Billy Bucks, so the 8th grade really wanted to personalize it, so Billy being William Shakespeare.
Oh.
So Shakespeare appears on it. And so again, this is going into that positive incentives of students doing, demonstrating positive habits of work, that a teacher may award them a Billy Bill or a Garfield Buck for incentive to continue doing what they're doing. Which then can get traded into the school store.
Hello.
I believe Brian is.
Hi, Brian. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Habits of work is one of the things that you could get for like cookie parties, and really recently 8th grade got a ice cream social, and if you only got S's and O's, then you could eat ice cream. And I feel like that's a really good way to show other students that if you do hard work, then you could get rewarded.
Great point.
Brian.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ms. Del Greco. I teach 6th grade and 8th grade social studies at Garfield Middle School. Thank you for having us tonight. Thank you to students for doing this very scary thing. You did awesome. Good job. So I'm going to be talking about our Gator Cup, which was something that was already instated at Garfield Middle School when I joined the team back in 2018. I am attempting to fill the very big shoes of one Jill Herwig. Hopefully I'm doing her proud. But essentially, Gator Cup is a school-wide event that we hold 3 times a year. Usually now that we are on the trimester system, it's once a trimester. And we use a day of school to do a school-wide competition. The competitions vary between Pictionary and charades and trivia. 8th grade did a volleyball competition. Each advisory is a team, and they accrue points during the day. At the end of the day, points are tallied, and the winning advisory from each grade gets a trophy, as you can see. And they hold that and host that in their classroom until the next Gator Cup. The final Gator Cup at the end of the year wins the winning advisory wins the Cup Supreme, which is the big trophy in the middle. So the advisory with the most points out of the whole school gets the Cup Supreme. So it's a great way to have some friendly competition, a lot of team building, community, communication skills, interpersonal skills, and it's something that we all look forward to and have a great time doing. So thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our presentation about the ways we're using positive incentives to provide our students some voice and choice. A number of our representatives here are from our student government as well as Power of No, and they're the ones that put this all together. So I really I'm proud of all the work that they do, and really excited that they're having these experiences and being able to have real world application. So thank you, teachers and students. And thank you, students.
Mrs. Rizzo.
So, a couple of comments. I was walking the beach, and me being so nosy saw this group of kids at the Rhinestone bandstand, and went up and asked what was going on. I was with someone that's not from Revere also, and they were telling me what they were doing. And I was so proud to tell the person I was with, yes, this is what we have in Revere, and they're amazing. I just thought it was a great thing to do, the telescopes and everything out there. I just loved it. And as far as the World Cup, again, I get to live on the beach, so to see the excitement, especially from the Moroccan people in our community, it was just a wonderful experience to be around that. I do wish I came by and saw all the doorways, because that looked really marvelous, and some great ideas there. And then my question is, who won the bake sale?
Mr. Matera.
Oh, he is the best. Have him make you some bagels. Oh, my gosh. They're the best. He's,
Baker Supreme.
oh, he is the best.
It's a tough competition, though, if you see the pictures.
Well, I don't know. Mr. Material will get my vote every time. Family, but.
Thank you, Mrs. Rizzo. Any other members? Ms. Milbury Ellis.
So as a former Gator, I'm really psyched to see all of these cool things that you guys are doing, because we certainly didn't have all of these experiences when I was there, although we had some things, but this is really expanded upon. You know, what I was hearing from you as you were all speaking is that positive reinforcement works. And I just hope that, you know, if you look back and you take from this, you can apply this to your life in every aspect, that positivity always overcomes anything else. So I hope that's what I'm taking from your presentation, and I hope you apply it in your life, that positivity is the way to go. So thank you.
Ms. Chai.
Well, I'll go way back and tell you, I did my student teaching at the Garfield School. It was a great experience way back when. And as I looked at all of you and I watched you get up there, I thought, they would make great teachers. I want you to think about that. Remember, it's a good job, and it pays well, too. Thank you.
Any other members? Okay. Terrific work, Garfield.
Thank you.
Great.
Great
Awesome.
job.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor and committee members, recognizing that it is a school night.
Yes.
And many of these young people and their teachers have done a full day already. Could we take a 2-minute break?
2 minutes.
Motion to take a 2-minute.
Second.
Recess, and we will continue on the superintendent report. Dr. Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next, we have a presentation from our special education department, specifically Ms. Kristen Murphy-Cormier, who oversees our postgraduate program at Revere High School. And she is going to share with the committee and the public at large some of the programming that's in place for those students who are beginning to transition out of their school environment to adulthood and living, and functioning in society. So we'll start with our Director of Elementary Special Education, Joanna Rizzo, and then I'm sure she'll bring up Ms. Cormier.
Good evening, everyone. It's good to see you again. Tonight we have, Mona and I have with us Kristen Murphy-Cormier. Kristen is the post-grad teacher at Revere High School. And we are very excited to have Kristen share with you the wonderful things that are happening in our post-grad life skills program. When we were thinking about what we wanted to talk about with special ed tonight, my idea was to have a presentation that encapsulates everything that we do in special education. We often hear about what's happening at the younger grades, but I wanted to have someone talk to you about everything that our students experience throughout their careers. And earlier in the year, before Christmas, I had the opportunity to attend the Life Skills Career Fair. And Dr. Gallucci and I were so fortunate to see our students engaging with a variety of professionals from all sorts of trades, businesses. We had people from our fire department here. It was amazing, and Kristen and her colleagues coordinated this for our life skills and post-grad students. And for me, it was an aha moment, because I see these students come in as 3, 4, and 5-year-olds, and I've watched them grow and go through our various programs, and I've worked with their families in good times and in challenging times. And to see the culmination of all of this work, and to see Kristen and her colleagues now working with these students and preparing them for life, for what's next, and to see their families preparing for what's next, for me it was full circle. And so I felt like this was the perfect opportunity for all of you to hear about the work that Kristen and our other teachers do to prepare them for what's next. And so with that, I give you Kristen.
Hi, thank you for having me tonight. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the programs that we have going for our postgraduate students, but I'm also going to talk about 2 specific programs that involve our broader special education students here at the high school as well. Here we go. So just a little bit of background here. So for our postgraduate students are comprised of students that are generally 18 to 22 years old, and these students have all received certificates of attendance, meaning that they have walked the stage, and due to the nature of their disability, they are eligible to stay in school until their 22nd birthday. And so a big focus of our program is getting these students ready for their post-secondary lives. So our curriculum obviously is going to look a little bit different than a traditional classroom. We focus on functional academics of reading, writing, math, usually around money and time. We work on activities of daily living, which can be anything from our Friday cooking lesson to teaching the students how to cross the street, sometimes household chores, anything of that nature. We have a strong focus on vocational skills, which I will come back to in just a second. Another strong focus for us is their social skills. You'll hear me mention that a couple different times tonight. Students might also participate in speech or occupational therapy depending on their needs. So that's just a little program background for you. A big piece of working on vocational skills, we work on some things in the classroom, obviously, but a big part of that for us is trying to get the students out and into the community. So you'll see these are our current internships/partnerships that we have. If you know of anybody that would like to partner with us, we are always looking to add on to this list to get more students involved again out in the community. The first 2 here are Parks and Recreation, and also at the RHS. Retro Cafe. Those are long-term partnerships for us. We've been working with them for a long time, and they've been really fundamental in helping those students kind of get that first work experience under their belt. And so we've been really thankful for their support over the years. But the two that I'm going to talk a little bit more about are our partnership with the Autism for Higher Ed Foundation and the Chelsea District Courthouse, as well as the Massachusetts Concurrent Inclusive Enrollment Initiative. That's a mouthful. We usually refer to it as the MACI program. Thank you. So to jump into the Autism for Higher Ed Foundation partnership, we are working with them to get students involved in the Paralegal Assistant Training Program. And this is a program where students, they help partner school districts with courthouses to help students gain some vocational experiences, some references, and then ultimately some paid employment experiences, hopefully at the end. They have reached out to the Chelsea District Courthouse for us. We, at one point, were going into Boston to work at the Suffolk Family and Probate Courthouse. That was a little far for us, so we were able to set up this new partnership in Chelsea, and they were happy to work with us and to have our students go there, so we're very excited about that. To keep it authentic, we did have 4 students that were interested in this type of employment, applied, went through the interview process, and then 2 were selected. We are hoping that as the 2 that were selected move on to other opportunities or age out of the program, we can have those other 2 students slot in and then continue with this process further down the road. So these students will be going to the program once a week. They're going to alternate weeks, and they'll be there for a couple hours helping out with filing, copying, and shredding, and they will be going with a paraprofessional. So we are really excited about, I know we are starting to pilot the full-time paraprofessionals, and so this is a great example of an opportunity that we are able to offer our students because of those extended hours. So moving right along, I next want to talk about the Massachusetts Inclusive Concurrent Enrollment Initiative, so MACI, and we are currently partnered with the University of Massachusetts Boston. In the past, we have worked with Roxbury Community College as well as Bunker Hill Community College. MACI is grant funded, so it really depends on where those programs are at with their grant funding, depends on who we are partnered with. So this is a new partnership for us this year with UMass Boston. It's literally starting up. Our student is going to orientation on Thursday, and his course starts next week on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so we're very excited about that. Similar to the PLAT program, the student has gone through, he submitted an application, he went through the interview process, he has gone to campus for a tour and met all of his support systems down there. He is going to be auditing a class, Intro to Nutrition, and he's going to go 2 days a week. But again, because we're going to have that full-time paraprofessional, he's going to be able to engage in more opportunities while on campus, such as tutoring sessions, and hopefully, again, to be able to get some kind of part-time employment on campus. And the whole background of MACI is to offer students that may not have the opportunity to attend a college program, because remember, all of these students have certificates of attendance versus diplomas, but socially they would really benefit from this type of experience, so MACI affords us that opportunity. To shift gears a little bit and to go back to what Joanna was referencing with our career day, so that is part of our Life Skills Collaborative Initiative with the Life Skills programs from Saugus and Everett. We meet on a monthly basis to come together to plan various events and field trips for our population. Each school takes on several events, so we take on 2 events. We have Career Day, which we just had at the start of December, which is where we have a lot of our actually friends and family are generally the ones that come in and talk about our careers. That's on the left is my very own husband came in to, he's a mechanical engineer, so he's showing them the various cables that he uses as part of his job. And this is another great opportunity for our students to just engage in those social skills with people that they're a little bit less familiar with than us. Yeah. So our other event that we do to wrap up the year is the Friendship Festival. And as you can see, we had an absolutely gorgeous day last June, where in the morning we start out with some more structured activities, and then as the day goes on, we let students decide which activities they want to go back to. And so we can see our students there on the end are kind of getting that kite up into the air. So it's just a great way to kind of end the year. The last two programs I'm going to tell you about are the two that I referenced that our life skills students are involved in, but also our broader special ed population is also involved in. The first one is Pre-Employment Transition Services, or also known as PREETS. And PREETS programming is a way for the Massachusetts Rehabilitation Commission to service students that will eventually apply for vocational rehabilitation services as they get ready to leave high school. There are a number of pre-ETS vendors all throughout Massachusetts. We are linked to two of them that I will talk about on the next slide. But all pre-ETS programming centers around these 5 components of job exploration, work readiness, work-based learning experiences, counseling if students want to attend post-secondary education, and self-advocacy. So like I said, so we have these 2 different vendors. We work at the Boston Center for Independent Living, and they right now are exclusively working with our small learning groups. We have 3 cohorts going right now. We have 9th graders who are working on job exploration. We have 11th graders who are working on college and career pathways and looking for some part-time jobs. And then those 12th graders are really getting ready to exit school, looking at their post-secondary readiness. We also work for partners with youth with disabilities, and we have 2 cohorts that are currently being set up for the spring. I believe similar last spring, we also had 2 cohorts going. So one will work with our life skills population around job readiness and work readiness training, and then we'll have one cohort is working with Coast Collaborative, and I believe that they are going to be working on the self-advocacy workshop that's offered. And Jody Calabro was really helpful in getting our smaller in group cohorts up and running. She's one of our smaller in group English teachers, so I wanted to mention her name. She's been very, very helpful with that this year. And last but certainly not least is our partnership with the Special Olympics. And this started when Tom Mackey, one of the other life skill teachers, and I attended a 5-district partnership on the Professional Development Day. We went to the Special Olympics session. They're one of the presenters. And that was the fall of 2021. And after leaving that meeting, they talked about the 3 components that would and allow us to apply to be a unified champion school. And we knew afterwards that we already had a lot of these pieces in place. So we met with Matt Nazzaro, who runs our adaptive PE class. We went with Frank Shea, Joshua Rosenthal, who already ran an Inclusive Opportunities Club. And we were able to put all of those pieces together and then present it to the Special Olympics. So this fall we were granted the Unified Champion School status, which is really exciting. So currently, in addition to the Unified PE class that Matt Nazzaro will be teaching next semester, we just finished our Unified basketball season, and we have some photos on the next couple of slides, and Dr. Glucci actually provided a couple of videos as well. Right now, we are starting with Unified Strength and Conditioning, which is something Matt Nazzaro is going to work on in-house with students, so we don't verse at any other schools for that. And hopefully that will get us ready for our 2nd season of Unified Track and Field this spring. We'll start up mid-March. In addition to that, we also signed up to do a 1-day Unified Bocce tournament, and that's a special collaboration with the Student Council and the Student Senate, the student leadership teams of the high school. So we're going to do that on January 28th. We will be there for the day. So we're very excited. Our next steps for with the Special Olympics, we're hoping to apply for the national banner status in March of 2023, in which we would have to meet 10 of the various criteria about offering inclusive opportunities for students throughout the school. And I think you can see from all the work that we're doing, we're well on our way to hopefully achieving that status. So these are just some photos. There's from we had a meet against Swampscott last year. So we have some long jump, some shot put. We have various running events. We also have javelin. And these are some stills from our Unified basketball that we just wrapped up. those are, cross our fingers that these work. And these again are from Dr. Gucci. Oh, that's okay. The last slide, it was just, I had some photos of just the signage. As a way to end is I just wanted to talk about the incredible amounts of support that we've had from the other athletics, from administrators, teachers, students have all come out to support us in our games. They've made us, signs. ROTC came in and did the colors and the anthem. So we're just really, really grateful for all the support, and we're looking forward to continuing this work into the future. So thank you so much.
Sorry, let me just show this quick.
Oh, it's fine. There we go. I think we have Mr. John Kingston there on the on the side. So we had the girls softball team came last year and made individual signs and stayed for 2 hours of a very cold track meet to cheer us on, which was incredible. And then we have that really large photo from our first basketball game on the bottom, where we had, girls volleyball made us signs and girls soccer made us signs. The football team was there. Some of the boys basketball team was there. It was just a really all-around incredible experience. So we're very, very thankful.
How many students are in the postgraduate program?
About 12.
A lot of support.
Great. Mrs. Rizzo.
So I have to say, Senator Lovely filed a bill for the autism higher education. She did that back in '21, and then Governor Baker had signed it July 2022. So I was so excited about seeing where that would go. And when I saw this on the agenda for this evening, I was so excited to see what we were doing with our students and, just the opportunities to create higher education for them. I'm just so happy. Thank you so much.
Of course.
And I got to attend some of the cooking classes prior to COVID, when Cheryl Cole was helping out with that.
Absolutely.
And it was like the best Fridays I ever had. Thank you.
We have a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rizzo. Mr. Kingston.
I told you I wouldn't speak, but I have to. I had so much fun doing the game that day. Mr. Shea had reached out and said, John, we need someone to do the clock, and it's something I have some experience with. And just to be in the field house that day with the support from all the kids, the kids didn't have to be there, and they were really cheering the other kids on, and it really was. It was an amazing, couple of hours, and I don't think I'll ever forget it, because I never saw, sometimes school spirit isn't what it should be, but it was there that day really strongly. And for, kids, and the kids had a blast. They did. And I was sitting there, and it was just amazing. And thanks to Mr. Shea, he had Jerry Girardi, who does all the sports. He does football games and basketball games, and he was there announcing the kids' names and everything else. And everybody was just encouraging everybody. And I'm serious, it was probably one of the best days that I can remember in a very long time. So, and I thank you for that, because you've done an awful lot of hard work. I know you used to be my neighbor across the hall at the credit union. I always called you neighbor, but I know you work so hard, and I really appreciate what you do. And thank you very much, because a lot of this is you. Just you, and I mean that.
There's a lot of people.
No, but someone has to lead the charge, and you're doing a lot of that, and I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kingston. Dr. Kelly.
So the next piece is a non-presentation, I'm going to call it. Mr. Bowen is here. You all received a copy of the NEASC report along with the cover letter indicating that our accreditation is being continued. They'll be back in 2 years to do an update and see where we are in terms of the corrective actions that they have identified for us. And most of them, I should say, were actions that the self-study generated, so from staff at the school. But I'll stop talking and let Mr. Bowen come up, and if you have any questions for him, or Chris, I don't know if you want to just give a brief.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me. I think the thing to lead with this accreditation process is that it is run very differently than how it has been run in the past. And so I don't know how many of you were in this role in previous accreditation phases, but it used to be something that happened sort of once every 10 years. And schools would get their materials together, they'd kind of put on the show for NEASC that comes to see, they give their stamp of approval, and they move on. And then they come back 10 years later. It's a very different process. It actually much more mirrors how our teacher evaluation process works, actually. So if you think about the three sort of essential components of that teacher evaluation process, there's the self-assessment phase, there's the goal-setting phase, there's the formative assessment that sort of happens halfway through that cycle, and then there's the summative assessment at the end of that evaluation cycle, which is the sort of official evaluation. That exact process is what we do here. So we went through the self-study, which was a team of primarily faculty at the high school with input from family, from students, from different administrators and all of that, that puts together this self-study report. Then the group from NEASC, which is a bunch of different representatives from different high schools, they try to match similar schools. So they get folks coming to the high school with experience from different schools come, and they sort of help guide this goal setting process. And that's where we're in right now. So we put together these 5 priority areas, which I've presented to this group before. I think in the summer I talked about those 5 areas. Us getting this report back from them sort of is the official signing of that, but we've been working on those priority areas since the summer. What will happen is that next school year, they'll come back and do this sort of formative assessment on where are we towards the goals that we've named, what have we completed, what has risen to the surface that we need to still work on, and then we make sort of an additional action plan that will take us to the end of the 10-year cycle. So they break up that 10 years as opposed to this one-time thing every 10 years. They break it up into this sort of 2-year self-assessment phase, another 2 years of this formative phase, and then about 6 years of that summative phase. And so it's never the case where you are accredited or not accredited. It is that they're continuing the accreditation we have, and that we're working towards the goals that we generate based on this. It's less them telling us what we need to do, and more us getting feedback from them based on what other schools do and what we've identified, and then hearing from them when they do their visit what they think we should include. And then they kind of check in on that goal setting process, and then they check in again and again. So that's just a different thing, and I think that the last time I went through this in a different district, it wasn't this cycle. It was everybody get 10,000 binders, put those together, and we'll see you in 10 years.
Yeah.
And that's just not how it is. And so I think the main things to highlight on this work start on page 34 of this report, which is just the priority areas that we've identified. They comment on those, and then they help us identify both from their kind of recommendations and commendations, different things for us to consider in the development of our planning. And that is stuff that is included in our school improvement plan that has been presented to you, as well as our thinking towards our longer term sort of 5-year, really 10-year planning. So I'll stop there. I just want to give that background on how it's a little bit.
And I'll just clarify one thing that Principal Bowen said, and that is, if they come back and say that you are deficient in some area and you refuse to address it, then you can lose your accreditation.
Correct.
So, yeah.
It is not that it's not on the table. It is just that it's a different approach to that.
The goal is growth and improvement.
Any members have any questions or comments? Mrs. Rizzo.
So I went right to the priority. I wanted to get to the summary of all
what
those
do we need
pages.
to do? Exactly.
And, your responses as a school, they all agreed with the work that you were going to be doing.
Yeah.
And that's very positive. And You have been working hard to make these changes in such a short time that you've been here. So I see this as a plus. We'll get there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And thank you.
Any other members? Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I say one last thing?
Yeah, sure.
I
Yeah,
can't
absolutely.
imagine stepping into this role and doing the work of leading all of the different groups of people to move the building the direction we want it to go, not having had this as a process. I think the place we'd be now in terms of our longer planning, if this wasn't something that we had engaged in all of last year, we would be in a very different spot. And so I think that this has just been a very helpful guiding process for me and my leadership team. And so I've just been very grateful for all the work that so many faculty members really put into this, because it was quite time consuming all of last year.
Ms. Milbury Ellis.
Sure, I just have a quick question. In the priority areas, there's, the priority seems to be centered around safety in several spots. Did they elaborate or give an example of what they were seeing that?
Yeah, so I think that when we think about safety, we're talking broadly about all sorts of safety in terms of physical safety, obviously building security and that kind of stuff. In addition to bigger picture concept of, do students feel comfortable in classes having challenging conversations with people that are different than them, right? The criteria that NEASC uses to define safety is outlined. I'm looking to see exactly where that is on page 34, that we collaborate with all stakeholders to ensure that the school community provides a safe, positive, respectful, and inclusive culture that ensures equity and honors diversity in identity and thought. So their definition of safety includes not just kind of the tangible, concrete things like physical safety, but also intellectual safety and all of that. And so what is the culture of our school doing to make people feel comfortable, welcomed, included, and safe?
Okay. I was looking at page 36. Where it was kind of talking about the building itself.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that so this last priority area is focused on kind of the physical plant of the building, right? And so this is the area where things like laboratory quality is included, right? And a lot of the things, this was actually kind of one of the more challenging ones to write and to work with, because we're in this process of designing a new high school. There are many things, it was easy in some ways because those were identified, but there are things, for example, like the addition of the new cameras that we have that have been installed that have been very helpful in a variety of things. Those were not present last year, right? And so things like that falls under the plant, right? The building, the facilities management that were, in the process last year, they just weren't installed. John Ferrara got that moving this year, and we got multiple new cameras. So things like that fit into those recommendations as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other members? Oh, Mr. Kingston, go ahead.
I just appreciate, as everyone does, I'm sure, but I really want to say it to you publicly. I appreciate your efforts. I know you're working extremely hard. I worry about you and your health. So please, at some point, take a break. I've seen it. Teachers have told me emails at 11:30, emails at 5:30. I'm saying, when is this guy sleeping? So I'm a little worried about you, and I mean that sincerely. So please, but I do appreciate your efforts. I know you're working 100 miles an hour, and it's much appreciated. If you don't always hear it, thank you.
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Mrs. Rizzo.
can I make a motion to go out of order so that we can allow, I forgot what I was going to say.
I think it was to have our next presentation, yes, yeah.
So,
They don't need to wait any
Through much
longer.
more.
okay, motion to suspend the rules.
Please.
To go out of order.
Second.
Second, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all right. We will go out of order and take up an item under old business, which is the Association of Islamic Charitable Projects Private School. Please.
But I think today's presentation might be different.
Yeah, the cover. So,
I'm going to do 90 pages.
Okay, great,
you
yeah.
guys can view it anywhere, but. Feel free to review while we're presenting.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. My name is Rowan Shaban, the principal of Ties Revere, and this is Sarah Nahas, and she's the assistant principal of the private school. We have been in contact and working with you all for quite some time, as you guys know, almost 2 years to be exact, or over 2 years. So we're excited to be here presenting to you guys finally. And we also appreciate your time. Thank you guys for being here and listening to what we have to say and present. And I also want to emphasize that the Revere School Committee has been nothing but helpful. Whenever we needed help with anything, you guys have been helping us. So thank you for that as well. Okay. So we are here today to present our school, the Islamic Education School, Ties Revere, also known as Ties. It is a full-time, non-profit Islamic private school that will be opening next school year, 2023-2024, in Revere. And we are looking to open all elementary grades, kindergarten to 5th grade, but plan on introducing grades kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade for the first year. And then we will expand grades every year. The first step for us is to obtain approval from the school, our local school committee, which is why we are here today. And so now Sada will be presenting a little background about Ties, the AICP, and I will also be presenting the main components of our school. We have provided each of you a portfolio, so feel free to browse our content while we're presenting, and if you have any questions, we'll answer at the end of the presentation. Thank you.
My name is Sarah Nahas, and I am the assistant principal of Ties Revere. I'm honored to be here today in hopes of starting this rewardable endeavor. What is AICP? So the Association of Islamic Charitable Projects is a religious nonprofit organization. The AICP is a worldwide association that is playing an important role in spreading values of justice and knowledge among the different factions and societies. The AICP encourages Muslims to better themselves through education and academic excellence, as well as expanding employment opportunities for themselves and other Muslims. The AICP started this path relying on the values of moderation, openness, wisdom, and cooperation. The AICP strives to teach Islam as well as the importance of functioning within society. Through its many endeavors, the AICP contributes to the well-being of humanity without compromising the values and the principles of Islam. The AICP sponsors secular and religious education. We have preschools, elementary schools, secondary schools, as well as weekend programs used as springboards to full-time education. We have also set goals to enter the university levels within the near future. The AICP offers religious education as well through public and private lessons. The most important objective of the AICP is to spread the correct knowledge of the religion, teaching Muslims and non-Muslims about Islam by spreading the Islamic obligatory knowledge and by supporting it with the proper evidence. Muslims believe that God is the creator of everything and that he does not resemble the creations in any way, and that Muhammad is the messenger of God. And the AICP prides itself in teaching the true, authentic religious knowledge that has a chain that reaches the Prophet, peace be upon him. Yeah. We are here today to talk about Ties, and that is the Islamic Education School. So why mention all about AICP? And that's to bring to your attention that TIES operates under the umbrella of the Association of Islamic Charitable Projects. Our academic schools are registered to operate with their respective state's Department of Education in our various locations. The Islamic Education School began nearly 30 years ago to address the emergent community need of having a safe, academically strong, and religiously excellent school experience for Muslim American families. The birth of TIES began with a handful of students and has grown to hundreds of students nationwide. All TIES schools, national and international, are focused on fostering high morals and ethics, raising community leaders, and providing students with high academic standards and encouraging the students to continue to post-secondary institutions. Established in 1993 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the Islamic Education School, known as TIES, has been a community cornerstone, serving families and their children, preparing students to achieve their fullest potential for success in this life and in the hereafter. Relying on our association's core values, TIES has grown over the years into a certified child care center. We have private schools and middle schools and Saturday school programs. Since then, we have gone on to open other locations nationwide. And the birth of sister campuses in Davie, Florida, and we have Anaheim, California as well, extended our nonprofit service model to multiple communities. And fast forward nearly 30 years, we are proud to offer a virtual option for families wherever they are in the world, and that's called Digitize. Our goal is to prepare students for success by building their self-confidence and moral character, and by developing their intellectual, physical, and artistic potential. Capitalizing on the success of AICP and setting up and operating Islamic schools around the world, TIES provides the children of our community with an excellent secular education and superior Islamic instruction. We hold our schools to high standards. Attending the Islamic Education School will, God willing, facilitate for the students the aspect of becoming honorable representatives of the Islamic society in this country. TIES is equipped with the necessary tools to provide high-quality education for its students, and students at TIES receive special individual attention to ensure that they excel in both the worldly beneficial knowledge as well as the religious matters as well. And many of our TIES alumni continued their education at prestigious and Ivy League universities. We are well known here in the Revere community. Our AICP Center has been in operation for over 20 years, and we also have a Saturday school program that's also been in operation for over 20 years. We have many students who've come into our schools, and they're now very valuable members of our community. We strive in being positive members in the Revere community, and thus far we have been successful in that. We always look for opportunities to involve the people of our community with our various events that we hold throughout the year. And then, as I mentioned, we have other schools nationwide. We have a school in California, Florida, and the main campus in Philadelphia. And we're doing exciting things, from placing first in state competitions to our most recent news in Davie, Florida, which is now they are expanding the school as it's growing. So we are super excited in that great endeavor. And then we have Digitize, like I mentioned, and that's launching as well, and that's something that's offered worldwide for students who want to be part of our school but maybe don't live in these 3 locations and hopefully the 4th location here. They have that option as well. And in hopes in continuing the growth, we are planning to have TIES Revere opening year 2023-2024, and with the guidance and support of our headquarters and the support of the Revere Department School of Education, we plan to be a valuable school here in the Revere area. As we've mentioned, this process isn't new to our organization, and we are equipped with the proper leaders to be successful in this endeavor. And we plan to utilize all what our organization has to offer, as well as the Department of Education here, to make sure that our school here in Revere excels on all fronts. So I thank you very much for allowing me to speak in front of you today, and then Rowan will take over with the details of the school.
So to begin, what exactly are our guiding principles? We are a religious private school, and our primary guideline in our teachings is Islam, while incorporating all aspects of education, technology, lifestyle, and other matters. TIES gives priority in all matters to students.
We aim to ensure that students are fully comfortable with the school environment and are receiving top quality education and services. But we also strive at ensuring a strong connection between all entities involved. So all of our teachers are going to be easily accessible to both parents and students. And at all of our TIES schools, our values, principles, and actions are all aligned. So the TIES Revere School will run full-time Monday through Friday. Our hours will be 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. and include all the required 180 days of school. We have provided to you our daily schedules for all 3 grades, kindergarten to 2nd grade, as well as our annual calendar that includes the holidays that we will be closed. And as you can see, for all required days, such as federal holidays, we will be closed as well, similar to the Revere Public Schools. When it comes to our curriculum, our goal in mind is to provide students with a high-quality education. So we are integrating the same curriculum from the other TIES branches and also aligning it to the Revere Public School curriculum. We are extensively working on curriculum unit planning, and at all stages of our curriculum, we're aiming to achieve the set curriculum standards set by the Massachusetts Department of Education. We have put our curriculum in detail, as you can see in our curriculum guides provided, and our schools will have modern resources, equipment, technology, including all the necessary teaching materials that the teachers will need throughout the year. And all of our teachers will use this material together with evaluation materials to ensure that they achieve all the desired teaching objectives. So aligned with all the other TIES schools, we will be teaching with the books listed. And of course, our education team has gone through a thorough review of the books to make sure that they meet the standards and expectations of Ed reports and curate reports. So they are aligned with MA standards. We have included an assessment and evaluation plan. There you can see that the school year is divided into quarters. We will be administering progress reports halfway through each quarter, and then the report cards at the end of each quarter. Similar to public schools, a final report card will determine if the student passes to the next grade or fails and has to repeat the grade. And the evaluating method that will be used during the year will be based on formative, informal, and summative evaluations. And we will be administering all the required standardized testing as well, along with NWEA's MAP assessment to evaluate student growth, progress in ELA, math, and science, and also to compare the performance levels of our students to state and national scores. The teaching staff at the TIES school are experienced and professional. Our teachers have sufficient training in modern teaching and the Massachusetts education system. They also understand the level of professionalism required in their area of practice. And the teachers at TIES are trained and prepared to lead their education career. Therefore, they have all undergone the necessary training so they have undergone the necessary teaching practices to be well equipped to handle their students. And our teachers are also fully vetted to teach Islamic and according to the Massachusetts Department of Education. We are organizing several workshops and trainings for our teachers to ensure that they're equipped with the trending education technology and latest methods of teaching. And we also want to emphasize that we want to be part of the Revere School Network. So if you guys also happen to offer any development or any workshops, we would be glad to be involved in that as well.
So for our facilities, safety is key when we were preparing our learning facilities. Therefore, our education facilities have been constructed in a way that ensures maximum safety for all students, parents, teachers, and admin staff. And at our school, we have established a very convenient structure that is suitable for learning activities. We have newly designed classrooms. We will be including a computer lab, a library for our students. There's going to be an admin office area with a reception area as well, and many more. And this ensures that students will be comfortable in their learning environment. So we have a lot more that is in progress and developing, and each day we're actually working on this project, and we're getting the school ready for operation next year. But we do appreciate you guys taking the time today to listen to our presentation, and we also appreciate you from before taking the time to answer all of our questions and getting us prepared as well. And we are planning an open house coming soon, and we are going to be inviting everyone so you guys can come and see the facility for yourself. If you have any questions, we will be happy to answer them as well. But yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Council member, committee members, Mr. Ferranti?
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have a couple of questions. How many students in total are you accepting?
Yep, so right now for kindergarten to second grade, we are gonna, so let me start. First off, we're gonna do the required student to teacher ratio. So each classroom is gonna have its own ratio. And we currently have 5 classrooms. So depending on if we see that there's a need, we will add more classrooms. But right now it's really hard to tell because we haven't started student registration yet. So I can't really give a number, but yeah.
Well, approximately maybe 40, 50 children?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're expecting around like 30 to 50 students. Yes.
Okay, now I notice you're charging for this.
Yeah.
How much are you charging the students for this?
Yeah, so as you know, we're a private school. We're not going to be getting grants, federal grants. It's all going to be coming out of the tuition of the students, our profits. So we're going to be charging around, we are going to be charging what the other private schools are around us are charging, which is around $6,000 to $7,000 per student. And then we'll offer discounts to those who have multiple children in the school.
And my last question, is it just for Revere students only, or is it any city?
No, so anyone can come to our school.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Ferranti. Ms. Gravellisi.
Thank you, Mayor Arrigo. I don't actually have a question, just more of a comment. I remember when you came to us 2 years ago and you didn't even have a piece of paper with you. You just said you wanted to open a school, and I just have to commend you on the homework that you've done as educators and everything that you've presented with us. You know, like I said, when you were here 2 years ago, really the information that you gave us was so limited. We didn't know how to respond, but thank you for all this.
Yeah, thank you. It was a learning journey for all of us, I guess.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ms. Tai.
I'm not sure if I didn't hear you or if I misheard you, but will you require that the teachers be certified, that is licensed by the state?
Yep, so we have certain like educational requirements, that, certification requirements that we're gonna have for the teachers. In general, state-issued teaching degrees are not required for private schools. However, we are gonna be holding our teachers to high standards. So the ones who are lined up right now to get hired, most of them have a degree, most of them have experience in teaching. So we have our own criteria that we're gonna follow to make sure that all of our teachers are gonna be well prepared. And we are gonna also be preparing them in advance by offering them trainings to set them up for success.
Well, I think that's wonderful, but I was just wondering if there might be some competition, so among teachers there, if they are not required to be licensed by the state. So, I mean, they certainly can be prepared in many other ways, but that is not going to be a requirement. You don't intend to do that.
So the state doesn't require it, but when we are gonna be hiring, we are gonna have a criteria that says like you should have a high degree, you should have experience teaching. We're gonna have our own standards when we're hiring.
Yes.
To make
But
sure.
not a license.
I think that's what typical private religious
Right.
schools do. They don't require the license, but they require advanced degrees, knowledge in the field, that kind of
Yes.
stuff, yeah.
I'm sure that's true of the parochial school that we have here already, that they don't require it. But I know that some teachers are, and I think they use that perhaps as a way to get a little bit bigger salary, which might be a problem for you, especially in your first couple of years starting out. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation.
Ms. Milbury Ellis.
You have come a long way.
Thank you. I'm interested in what happens after second grade and how the transition works for these students, presumably for the Revere residents into the Revere public schools, and what that looks like.
Yeah, so for the first year, we are just going to be doing kindergarten to second grade, but our goal is to have the full K through 5.
Yeah, so I was saying that we are going to have the first year kindergarten to second grade. However, our goal is to open next year all K through 5. And we are going to have like a process for transfer students, so it's all going to be like professionally done. It wouldn't be there are not going to be any difficulties with that.
So my thoughts are, as I read through this, that you're going to want us to vote on this at some point when you're prepared to present to us for that purpose. And I would just suggest that there's some generalizations that are here, and for me, I'd want to see it spelled out. You know, whether you're talking about standardized tests or there's just a lot of generalized concepts that I think I would be interested in knowing what exactly you mean, like a more developed plan. I'm totally impressed by the amount of work that you've put into it since the last time. The effort is evident, but just as you move along in this journey, you might want to explain in a more detailed fashion what you mean by a lot of the concepts that you discussed and you plan on doing.
Okay. Yep.
Mr. Kingston.
I appreciate all the hard work you've done as well. My question is about the physical plan. I remember when it was the cable office years ago and went there to pay my cable bill. How much actual square footage is there? What's ready? What's been permitted, so to speak? Like, where are you at as far as the physical building? I know it seems like the education part you've worked a lot hard on, and it's not my area of expertise, but based on what it's reading, the bases have been covered. But I'm a little concerned about the physical plant, and is there room for that many classrooms?
Yeah. So
Thank
So we've been working with the city of Revere, their building department, and we actually have the permit to construct the floor as an educational facility. So they've been working with us to make sure that it's ready as an educational facility. As for plans, we can we have like all the documents that we can send you if you're interested in that. Like we have the floor plan, we have everything, like where everything's gonna be laid out. But yeah, it's ready to be an educational facility, and we are actually almost done with all the construction. And yeah.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Any other members? Ms. Gravellisi.
Thank you, Mayor Arrigo. So it is what I'm assuming that you came here for tonight for the vote, where you want to be opening your school for the fall, correct? Am I correct with that?
Yeah, so the fall.
So at this time, I would like to make a motion to approve the, let me get the correct name. Sorry. The Ties, could you help me with the name? The Ties School,
Yep.
located at 41 Marble Street in Revere.
Second.
Excuse me? Oh, sorry. Let me get this right.
No, so TIES
Okay.
is the correct.
I'd like to make a motion.
Yeah, TIES.
To approve
So-
the Association of Islamic Charitable Projects Private School.
Yep, TIES.
Second.
Motion seconded, roll call.
Mrs. Bronston Rizzo.
Yes.
Mr. Ferranti.
Yes.
Miss Gravelisi.
Yes.
Mr. Kingston.
Yes.
Mrs. Milbury Ellis.
Yes.
Miss Ty.
Yes.
Mayor Reek.
Yes. Okay.
Congratulations.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck, guys.
Don't forget to
Thank you
send
for
us
all your
the
hard work.
invitation for the open house, please.
Do you have a date for that?
Not yet,
Not
but
yet.
we will be sending it out to you. We have all your emails, and we'll be doing a formal invitation as well to you all.
Thank you.
Thank
Look
you.
forward to seeing you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
And we'll stay in
Okay.
We'll be looking for our,
Congratulations.
we'll be looking for the invite to the open house. I'm excited.
You're gonna get bored of us an invite.
No, please.
Islamic, yes. How are you? Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Good luck, guys.
I was telling you, you're gonna get bored of invitations from us.
We won't be
Ask the mayor about it.
We won't be bored.
Thank you guys so much for your time.
Thank you for all your hard work.
Okay, we will go back to the regular order of business and go back to the superintendent's report. Dr. Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The next item on the superintendent's report is ESSER 3 funds. And I had spoken to Mr. Ferranti as the chair of the Ways and Means Committee and done a little bit of legwork around the city. Mr. Mayor, we spoke about this at your cabinet meeting last week, but we're in a couple of persnickety situations, I guess I'll say, as it relates to ESSER 3. The first is you'll know that you approved the allocation of $8 million from our ESSER 3 grant to be put aside for an early childhood center at the McKinley Building. That was almost 2 years ago, I believe, that you made that commitment. Since then, there's been a little bit of a slowdown, I guess I would say, in how that construction is going to happen and when it's going to happen, which puts us into a little bit of a jam because we have to spend these funds by September of 2024. So not this coming September, but a year from now. Simultaneous to that, you all know that the City Council voted to move the vote on schematic design for the new high school to a Ways and Means Subcommittee. So we're in a bit of a delay in terms of getting approval from the MSBA to actually fund the work that our owner's project manager, our design team, and our construction teams thought that they would be engaged in at this particular point in time, which means that they're getting no funds, and we're asking them to stay committed to this project. And one of the greatest risks to that is that their teams can't just sit around and not get paid. If we can't figure out how to keep them working, they'll be reassigned to other jobs, which means that we'll end up with the B team or the C team actually building our high school, not something that we want. So the proposal that I'm making for the school committee tonight, and I would like your support, I did reach out to the state just to find out if this was doable, and we do have preliminary approval to make this change, which would be to take some of that money that we currently have put aside for the McKinley School and move it over. We still have to submit the actual spending plan to DESE for actual approval. Danielle and I have blocked time in our schedule Thursday morning. With the committee's approval, we're going to move about $2.5 million and write an amendment for that to be spent to keep the high school project on target while we work with the city council to get their formal vote and the ability to submit paperwork to the MSBA that would actually result in a funding schedule. And that amount of money, in talking to the OPM and to our design team, that amount of money they feel would carry them through the 4 months that we anticipate will occur between now and when the city council and the MSBA approve a plan going forward. It would still leave, now, we did take $1 million of those dollars and use them for transportation this year, but it would still leave several $1 million there, so that if in the course of the next year, something happens that program accelerates, we still have some money to start building out the early childhood center. We would have to figure out where the rest of that would come from, but it doesn't eliminate that project from a priority that we still have. And so that's my proposal to the committee tonight.
And I'll just add on, Dr. Kelly. I think as everyone knows, we've had a number of capital projects that have gone on. The planning for the McKinley School it's been, kind of a while. We've gotten a couple of planning grants from Mass Development. We've worked with them, kind of thinking through what the program of that building would look like. As we kind of move forward, and we've talked about, Dr. Kelly and I have talked about this, the project at McKinley, it would be and will be much more than $7 or $8 million that the city the school had set aside, and kind of understanding that we want this to continue, but this pot of money is available now for a more immediate need, and the commitment for redevelopment of the McKinley School is still present, and the work that's being done by our planning and community development staff, and the commitments that we have with Mass Development to continue that work will continue. It just, at the end of the day, the priority of a high school, I think, is kind of supersedes what we're looking to do at the McKinley, and we're not by any means kind of moving away from the commitment that we made to do something at McKinley. It's, like I said, it's going to cost more than the amount of money that has been set aside. So to some degree, I feel like the money that's been set aside is movable, because we would, in order for a project to get off the ground, and we don't even have an OPM for the McKinley School project, because we're still in the kind of development phase or planning phase with Mass Development. The next steps for us would be hiring an OPM, because it will be over $1 million for the work to be done. And as we all know from the process of rebuilding or building a high school and building a fire station, building a DPW facility, these projects take a long time. And we would be ultimately, the city would be bonding the money to be able to renovate that project or renovate that building. So that bonding would be happening, in a couple of years anyway. And the timelines for what would need to be done, as we looked at it, and as Dr. Kelly mentioned, the timelines, kind of are set up for us to reprogram a portion of this money to be, for a more time-sensitive priority than the McKinley School. So. And if anybody has any questions about the McKinley, happy to go into it.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, Mr. Ferranti.
This sort of puts that project in a quandary, because, correct me if I'm right, Dr. Kelly, if we don't spend that money by September 2024, we lose it.
That's right, and that's kind of why I see this as a little bit serendipitous that we have these two issues at the same time. One is that we need the money for the high school building, right? And we're probably not going to get to spend it for the McKinley, and we don't want to give it back. So it would be better to reallocate and use it in a way that's going to serve the students across the city.
Okay, so if we're going on that point and we can't get the McKinley rolling by 2024, we still have $4.4 million.
Yep.
What do we do with that? Does that go into the high school project?
It could, but rather than move it right now,
Just remove what you need.
we'll move what we need, and then we always have the option to submit amendments going forward as well. Believe me, we're not going to send money back unless it's the $99 like we did earlier tonight, or the...
Then my question to Mr. Mayor, that and it's probably a guess, is that any idea when this McKinley School can be started? Or are we still like 2, 3, 4 years out? Or?
So, yeah, my sense is, and one of the things that we talked about in my cabinet meeting, when we discussed the McKinley School just in general, is I think one of the things that we're thinking about is, do we put out a request for proposals, and have as part of that a requirement that early education space would be provided, but look to external partners to help make something happen at that site, right? So that's something that we haven't really done. We've talked to Mass Development about it because they have provided us with a couple of rounds of grant funding to help us do some preliminary studies around what can be done in the building. But as I mentioned, our next step really would be, if we're going to take the project on ourselves, our next step would be hiring an OPM. That is a process upon itself, So there's that piece. Or we are looking, and we're going to work with Dr. Kelly. Do we put together some kind of RFP for that site and say, hey, here are the things that we want to see happen at the McKinley? Are there folks that may want to take that on and partner up with the city in some fashion to redevelop and rehabilitate that building?
It just seems to be a real time constraint issue right now. Obviously, you've got about a year and a half to decide what to do.
Yep.
And if you make a commitment to do it and it doesn't happen, you're going to lose the money.
Right.
So you're going to have to decide relatively quickly, are we going forward with the McKinley or not? And you just said we're not going to have enough money, which means that we're going to have to come up with more money, that we're allocating this money to the high school, which I don't really have a problem with, because we need to do it.
Yeah, and I think that's where the conversations that we've had have been, do we look to external help to get something happening at the McKinley School? I think we've been talking about the McKinley School for a long time, but if you think about the projects that we have in the queue, right? DPW building is coming out of the ground now. Point of Pines Fire Station, knock on wood, we'll have a contract signed with the contractor in short order, and this is a project that we've like I said, we've done those planning kind of phases, but we haven't hired an OPM. And if we were to hire an OPM, say at some point this year, it would be really hard to spend even $7 million, and we know rehabbing that building will probably, cost a lot, like maybe double that, if not another figure past that. So we wouldn't, when we talked about it, we wouldn't be able to get that money out the door quick enough, and that's why this conversation kind of has come to a head, and it certainly makes sense, I think, to reprogram a portion, and then we have that other portion to kind of figure out what we want to do with.
Thank you.
Any other members?
Is it appropriate to make a motion
This tie?
regarding this?
I don't know if it needs a vote.
Do we need to do that, or?
I don't know if it's required.
Yeah.
Okay.
Transfer money from one account to another, I would think you would.
Okay.
Right.
Right. Let's take it just to take it.
Yeah.
It's going kind of parallel, because it's from building construction to building construction.
Right. So would it be a motion to approve the amendment? You have to make a formal amendment, Dr. Kelly, right?
So, yeah, I guess I would ask that the committee vote to authorize me to submit an amendment to our ESSER 3 grant for reallocation of funds.
Do you have to put an amount in that?
Please. 2.5 million?
No, but when you submit your amendment, do you have to put an
Yes,
amount?
I'll have to tell them every penny
So we're
that
going
we're
to vote
moving.
on the 2.5 million?
Right. Yeah.
To transfer from the McKinley account to the high school? Okay.
Mr. Kingston, okay.
Could, oh, I apologize. Could Matt provide us, even tomorrow, with an email of, starting figure minus the 2.5 million, what's left in real dollars? I would just like to know.
Do we have a second for discussion?
I'll second.
Thanks, okay.
Excuse me, I apologize.
Nope, he did it too.
I'm concerned, I don't, I'm not really, I'm gonna vote yes, because I don't wanna hurt the high school project, but I also don't like being asked to vote on $2.5 million in 5 minutes. So that's kind of bothering me, and I know it's for a good cause, I'm not saying anyone's doing anything wrong, I just would like a little more time. I'm disappointed about I went to those meetings on the early childhood from McKinley, and I was pretty excited about it because I really think it's a need. You talk to parents, it's tough with, getting childcare. There was a big article in the Globe today about a daycare that closed that's been open for 40 years because they can't get staffing. It's just such a heartache for a lot of people. And I was so excited when they were going to take the McKinley and do something with it. And I understand the money, Mr. Mayor, I get it, and I'm not, no fault of anybody. It's just things cost too much today, unfortunately. So I have no problem with it. I just want to kind of keep track of that 4.4 million, because to me, I'm just thinking about it in the last 10 minutes. I mean, could we add on to a building? Could we do something with that money in a school? Could we do something to the high school? This school's going to be up for the next 5 or 6 years servicing kids. Maybe that 4 million should go into this building somehow. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't have anything in front of me. It just seems like we're going to be living here for a lot longer than we all want to be, as far as the high school. And I think, we maybe make it a little better for the students that are going to be coming through here, the next 4 or 5 years. That's all. And I would just like an accounting of that money so we can kind of keep track of it. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Kingston. Any other?
I would just
Ms. Ferranti.
Sean, that we started with 8 million, it took 1.1 for transportation, assume we transferred to 2.5, you got 4.4 million. The thing is that we have to spend it by September of 2024. Now, what we do with the money, but I think that needs another conversation, another meeting, what we're going to do with it. That we need to do something pretty smart with it, where we can, or, because she said, we're not sending it back, so we're gonna do something. What we do, I don't know. Thank you.
Ms. Milbury-Ellis.
I just want to make sure that I'm understanding. Isn't the 4+ million that's staying in the account, staying there for the purpose of the McKinley, for in the event we can move on McKinley?
Correct.
And if not, then we'll talk about it. And there's a possibility we might need it for the new high school anyway.
And I think that Mr. Kingston's point is a good one too. Like, we might decide that 4.4 million, if you're telling me that's what the number is, might be better spent in this building to do some interim upgrades that aren't going to go to waste if we end up repurposing this into a central middle school,
Right.
But I do want to just kind of hold on to that hope that something's going to happen at the McKinley.
Right.
And we might know that by August or September of 2023, which would give us time to allocate those funds to build out those classrooms or do something like that. I think it's just premature right now to say, move everything to the new high school. I think that if we move the chunk that we need now, it'll give us all time to think about what the best use of the rest of it is.
Yeah, and there's nothing to prevent us from using maybe some of that money to do for OPM services or some other kind of initial services that are not going to be like hard costs, construction costs, but they're going to be costs that are associated with renovating that building that in some ways might be more useful. A lesser amount might be more useful for us. So, yep, Mrs. Rizzo.
I was just thinking, is there any chance that MSBA accelerated programs could be used at the McKinley for early childhood? I'm reaching, but...
You are, I know. Unfortunately, right now, the McKinley building is not considered a school. It's not a school, so it wouldn't qualify for MSBA funding.
Any other members? Okay.
Do you want us to take a vote on this?
It's a roll call.
We'll do a roll call then.
Okay. So, Ms. Tai
Yes.
made the motion, right? And it was seconded? Mr. Ferranti? Okay, so roll call.
Mrs. Bronston Rizzo?
Yes.
Mr. Ferranti?
Yes.
Ms. Gravellisi?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Mr. King?
Sorry.
Mrs. Milbury Ellis?
Yes.
Ms. Ty?
Yes.
Mayor Rigo?
Yes. The draft.
Except the draft at the committee.
The committee.
You can send it to the union.
So the last item on the superintendent's report was just the 23-24 school year calendar, which since the committee approved at their earlier committee of the whole meeting, I will now forward to the union presidents and principals, who I'm sure will find 3, 4, 5, 6 mistakes with it, and then we will correct those for the final calendar. And that concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Kelly. We'll move on to report of subcommittees. None. Any motions? None. Oh,
Well,
Ms. Ty.
we were going to have a discussion about, although I think we've discussed enough about when the meetings are going to be, so maybe we should just like take a vote on it. And if we want to, we could just take a vote on it next month and see how it works out. So.
Well, next month is the February meeting.
Pardon me?
Next one is the February meeting.
Yes, I know, but I mean, rather than do the February ending, just move to February. If that would be, or do we want to do it all, or just do the two of them, make the change in the two of them?
So we're looking to vote to change the dates of the February meeting and the April meeting. Is that correct?
And they're currently what, on the 21st of each month?
21st and 18th of April.
And I would suggest that maybe in February we do it on the 4th, rather than the 17th, because I know people have obligations on the 17th. But either one is fine with me.
So move February to the 28th?
If that-
I'm looking forward to it.
That's Valentine's.
Anybody celebrating Valentine's Day?
I'm working. They're gonna have to switch something around if it's not the 21st.
This is
Okay,
weird.
so-
Can we just
so
have
are
a
we-
side meeting?
Can we take a vote? Can we take a vote to reassess or to change the meeting dates for February and April?
Yes.
Motion, okay, so there's a motion. Motion by Ms. Ty. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Mrs. Kingston.
Mr. Chairman, can I just know what the dates are that we're changing in April and February? I just want to know what the dates are going to.
Oh, I thought you were trying to vote on just making the change.
That's what I was trying to do.
Michael wants the dates.
He wants the actual dates. So I would say, and I am not, I don't want to step out, and if I'm out of line, let me know, but I believe that the dates are at the call of the chair. And so if, I can let you know tomorrow. I will let everybody know tomorrow. I'll just call the dates that we have for February. And if in the event that we decide to change it, I'll let everyone know per the fact that the meetings are at the call of the chair. Okay? All right. The motion's been made for the chair to change the two meetings in February and April.
I'll make that motion then.
Motion made by Ms. Ty, seconded. Roll call.
Mrs. Bronston Rizzo?
No.
Mr. Ferranti?
No.
Ms. Gravellisi?
Yes.
Mr. Kingston?
Yes.
Mrs. Milbury Ellis?
Yes.
Ms. Ty?
Yes.
Mayor Rigo?
Yes. Ms. Ferranti, I promise I'll have you dates.
Thank you.
Okay. Right. Under old business, we have paraprofessionals being hired.
Yes, thank you. I was
Mrs.
just
Rizzo.
wondering, we had discussed the role of full-time, and wanted just a heads up where we were on it.
So the individual job descriptions were made for each of the new positions. And they were sent out to all current paraprofessionals last week, and they were invited to indicate their interest in one or more of those positions. And I know that the union had asked for a 2-week window for people to apply, which I believe would take them through next Friday. Do you know? It could be next Wednesday. I'm trying to remember if that went out Wednesday or Friday. I don't know, but and then the principals and Dr. Galucci, along with Mona Ford Walker and Joanna Rizzo, will go through the resumes and start making some decisions.
So we're looking, we're looking, Mr. Chairman, we're looking at the first part of February then, between interviews and hiring people? Does that sound right?
Oh, for people to take their positions?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I know they want to make quick work of it. They want to definitely get this done quickly. And then the same thing for the coach position? Did you just want to know?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Just wanted to know about if we found someone for special education.
We have not. We still have the open ETL position that we're trying to fill. And once we fill that, then it would likely be an existing employee who would move to the coach position. But we're still down staff members.
Any other members? Okay. Move on to new business. Oh, correct. But, so let's start with subcommittees for 2023.
No.
No, I know. We're gonna do subcommittees first, and then I'll do the other stuff, yeah. Mrs. Rizzo, subcommittees for 2023?
Yes, for right now, I was leaving everything as we did for 2022. But if anyone feels that they need to change something, if they could just let me know and we can make some type of arrangements. Also, just for everyone to follow up with their subcommittees, to have some goals set on what they want to accomplish this year. I think our policies say we need to meet at least, each committee needs to meet at least twice a year. But, let's not just have these committees in name only. Let's work on them.
Ms. Milbury Ellis.
So are you looking for a motion to keep the status quo for the subcommittees?
No, we don't need one, no.
Okay.
Thanks. Thank you, though.
Okay. All right, we'll do the last piece of new business, which is the school field trips that were attached as part of the consent calendar. I don't know if we want to go through each one, or if folks have questions on individual field trips. There were 5 listed. Oh, okay, Ms. Gravellisi. Absolutely. Ms. Gravellisi, go ahead.
So, thank you, Mayor Arrigo. We just wanted to let the viewing audience know all the great things that our students are doing. Our RHS robotics team is going to a scrimmage in New Hampshire on February 18th. The robotics team is also going to the district event in March. Again, the robotics team will go into the district championship in April, hopefully. I'm sure they always do well. And then following that, with all the
good luck and, the skills that they have. They'll be attending the World Championship in April, so all these are preset. As they move forward and they win their competitions, they'll be moving forward. And also our ELO group is going to the Harvard Model Congress at the Sheraton Boston, which is another great event. So our students are back doing their field trips and really showing how great Revere is. We also had some donations that I need to mention about.
Can we stick to that? We need to vote.
Sorry, Miss Rizzo, you're right. I was moving too fast.
She wants to go home.
We will need a vote to approve all of these field trips. Ms. Rizzo?
Motion to approve the field trips?
Second. Now you can have a discussion.
Discussion, please. I'm asking if these are tentative, because when I look at the robotics, they'll be missing 3 days of school for the first one, and then 7 days for the next one, which means a total of 10 days for the month of April. And that's a lot of school days being missed.
So they are, if we qualify, they are tentative. He wanted to submit for approval now so that you have the whole.
So, of course, they're going to make it with, what are we going to do about the 10 days of school? Can we work out a plan in the meantime?
So when students are absent for field trips or other academic reasons, they are required to make up all work missed. They are required to visit with their teachers before they go and get the work that they need to make up or that they're going to miss and make sure that they hand it in when they get back.
One of them is April vacation, so it's not 10 days.
The 17th is April vacation?
Yeah, it is.
That would be good. That would be.
Okay, so there's a motion that's been seconded. Roll call?
Mrs. Bronston Rizzo?
Yes.
Mr. Ferranti?
Yes.
Ms. Gravellisi?
Yes.
Mr. Kingston?
Yes.
Mrs. Milbury Ellis?
Yes.
Ms. Ty?
Yes.
Mayor Rigo?
Yes. And finally, we have the acceptance of donations, gifts, grants. Ms. Gravellisi, do you want to read those?
Thank you, Mayor Rigo. We would be amiss not to mention the great supplies that were donated by Pinnacle Office Solutions, which included wooden chairs and tables, metal chairs and tables, and wooden corrals, which are small cubicles with desks that they use during reading or library time. We don't want it to sound like it's a corral. They're small cubicle desks that the student could sit and have quiet time and read. So we appreciate that donation and want to thank Pinnacle Office Solutions for that. Those donations went to the Wayland, the Rumney, and the Susan B. Anthony. Thank you.
Great. Do we need any votes to accept?
Motion to accept the donations?
Second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Bronston Rizzo?
Yes.
Mr. Ferranti?
Yes.
Ms. Gravellisi?
Yes.
Mr. Kingston?
Yes.
Mrs. Milbury Ellis?
Yes.
Ms. Ty?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes. Any members have anything else? Okay. With that, I will adjourn this evening's meeting. Thank you.